Hi YouTube, it's Diane again. Sorry if I have too many videos going on at once, I don't know. But this one's going to be longer than my last two videos. This one is my Maliciously Hopeless SALs revamp of 2015. Yes, I am a victim of that. If you're not aware, Wonderfully Hopeless put out a list of stitch-alongs for the entire year of 2015. And at first I thought, oh, well, that's nice. And then she added to it, and I think right now there's 24 of them, or a very large number. And so I went through them to figure out which ones I might be interested in joining. I haven't done very many stitch-alongs at all. This is really the first year I've done stitch-alongs, and I've become involved in the Mirabilia stitch-along that was started by Mrs. Milky Bar Kid here on Floss Tube. But that was the only one I was planning. And then Wonderfully Hopeless and Miss Mel got together and put this list out. First of all, I am not doing all the stitch-alongs. I do not have the time or the energy. I probably could do most of them. There's a few designers I don't have anything of theirs to stitch, but I did well, and I went through and I was very picky on which ones I want to be involved in this year. So, the first stitch-along that I am going to be involved in is going to start March 1st, I believe, and it's the sampler stitch-along. My husband, he spoils me, and for Christmas he gave me a gift certificate to the quilt shop that I go to the most often. I go to some different ones because one quilt shop can't hold everything. And one quilt shop will specialize in this, and one will specialize in that, so I can kind of know who does what. This is the store I go to 9 times out of 10. He also gave me a gift certificate to an online cross-stitch place that I'd never ordered from before. And I'll be honest, I probably won't order from them again. The experience has not been the best. They are here in the States, but I'm not going to say their name. It's just, I don't know. They probably have like a 96% rate, but I'm in that 4%. Yeah, it's been that kind of thing. But the products that I did receive are really good. They're in good condition, so I'm happy with that. And when I was looking on their website to what do I want to use this gift certificate for, I remembered a pattern that I don't remember where I had seen this pattern, but it was a snowman, and so I ended up in their winter snow theme area of their website, and I ran across this one. It's by Country Cottage. This is chart 93, and it is called Snow Sampler. It says snowman, snowflake, and snowbird. It is roughly 5 by 8 when it's all stitched up, and if the sample here was stitched on 32 count. 32 count is my favorite count, so I am going to stitch it on 32 count, but I'm stitching it on, this is Picture This Plus fabric, and it is gingerbread. It's a brown. It's not a really rich brown, but think of a gingerbread man brown. It definitely fits in there. This is the first time I've used Picture This Plus fabric, and so far I like the color and how it feels. I'll see how it stitches up for me. This project has one specialty fiber, Simply Shaker Sampler Threads, Gentle Art Baby Spinach. I already had this from another project, so I didn't have to buy any additional floss. There are no beads in this project and no metallics. Although it does call for French knots, and I don't like French knots, so I might put beads in they're for eyes on the bird and the snowman. I might put beads in the place of the French knots, and I also was going through my stash, and I had some little treasures that are snowflakes. I might add those. I don't know. I'll see what it looks like when it's stitched up. But that stitch along starts in March. And then in May, this is the stitch along that I signed up for first. It is Specialty Stitches Stitch Along. And as immediately when I saw that name, I knew exactly what pattern I wanted to do. This pattern has been in my stash, I want to say 5 years, but it's probably closer to 10. And I'll pull it out. Oh, I really want to do this. And I put it back in my stash. Pull it out. And this time, I'm actually going to do this project. It's called One Stitch at a Time, Patricia Ann Designs. And this is the white coppery gold, and they also show a sample of it. Blues, kind of a gray blue with some Karen water lilies right here, and then there's some Krennics here. There are also some beads in this outer border. It has 45 different stitches, so the center is a 6x6 grid, and the other 9 are involved in this border and the grid lines. I have stitched some of these stitches before, but I have not stitched all of them. So I went through my stash. And this is the fabric. It's 32 count. It's a fabric by Fabric Flair. And it's called Stone. And it's a very slight variegation. You might not be able to see it. It's kind of a brown-gray color, very, very mild. And I thought that would look great on this project. I'm going to use DMC Pearl Cotton 8 white and 12 white. And then I was looking at the water lilies, but I chose this instead when I went to Stitchville this last Super Bowl Sunday sale. I bought from the Karen collection Soie Cristal, this color, and it is a teal blue. It is silk, 12 strands. It is just beautiful. It's not really coming across on the screen. My natural light is hiding behind the clouds again in Minnesota. But this I'm going to use, and then I'm trying to choose which metallic to use. I have some Petite Treasure braids. This is a coppery color, silver with kind of an iridescent, so it really picks up a different color. Or I might do this Krennic. I haven't decided. I want to kind of start stitching it and figuring out what looks good. The Krennic is number 4 braid. And I do have a good collection of number 4 braids, so if I don't like that Krennic, I will probably find something else. But that is the first stitch along from the Melliciously Hopeless SALs, as they are being called now, that I signed up to do. I knew immediately I wanted to do that one. The only thing I don't like about this pattern is while it tells you what they used in the samples, and you could use anything you want, I wish they would suggest a number of yards or a number of skeins. I hope I have enough, because I don't have to go and buy more and hope that it's the same dye lot. So hopefully I have enough, and I could probably fudge it on that project. But I look forward to that one. That one starts May 8th, and I might start that one a little earlier or a little later. My son graduates on the 16th of May, and that final week before graduation, you have your coat, or he has to have a button-up shirt, and he has to have a tie, and you have your cap and gown, and a lot of running around. So I'm not sure if I'll get to it on the 8th, but it will be started in May. I will tell you that, or at least that's my plan. She also has a Joan Elliott, and I originally had intended to pull something from my stash, but when I went to Stitchville, I took something else. Yeah, this is called Ice Fairy. I'm trying not to get a huge glare on it. And she is beautiful. I don't normally like doing fairies, but she just jumped out at me. I had to take her out of the store. This has all of this metallic I will probably swap out. I don't like DMC metallic. I don't like metallics that are put together on a skein like this. So I might use Petite Treasure braid or Krennic. Here's all the embellishments, the beads, and then the flosses. And she is about, let's see, 12 by 15. She's on 14 count Ada. So she should stitch up pretty nicely. That's in June. I'm not sure the exact day, but it starts in June. And then in July, she has a something new stitch along. The idea behind this stitch along is try something you haven't tried before. So if you haven't tried linen, try linen. If you haven't tried specialty stitches, try specialty stitches. If you haven't tried silks, try silks. Just different things to challenge yourself. Kind of put your toe in the water and challenge yourself. I had a laugh when Carolyn from Australia showed her 2015 plans because she had purchased a Biscornu kit that's designed by the Sweetheart Tree. Well, I had ordered one too. It's a different pattern though. She had, hers was blossoms, something blossoms. This one is Rhodes butterfly, and if you see right here, or maybe this one would be better. The butterfly there, that's the Rhodes butterfly stitch. I did this in my son's birth sampler. I love this stitch. I love this stitch. So when I saw this one, I've never made a Biscornu, so I thought this would be a challenge for me. Not so much the stitching, but as the putting together, assembly, stuffing. Yeah. And if I remember correctly, Tara C, and maybe Mrs. Milky Bar Kid have a video on Biscornu and how they stuffed it. Because the kit has everything you need in it. It has the fabric, the pattern obviously, all the fibers, and the embellishments. The only thing it doesn't have, and obviously the instructions, the only thing it doesn't have is what you stuff your Biscornu with. And if I remember right, they said crushed walnut shells. When I get there, I will rewatch those videos and pick up some tips. But this is the Biscornu kit. And I think it'll really look fabulous. There's some cool embellishments. Here, there's these butterfly buttons. There's a heart in the center. And all these beads here. So it'll be fun. Then in September, I think it starts on September 4th, she has the Alessandra Adelaide stitch along. I have never stitched an Alessandra Adelaide pattern. I've looked at her patterns. They're beautiful, but I've never stitched one. So I'm stitching one. And I don't know if this has ever happened to you, but if you've stitched a designer and it seems as if each designer kind of has their own language. I've stitched a few designers. The designs were beautiful, but I don't know, what symbols they used or something just didn't click with me. So I didn't really want to finish the project or didn't want to stitch it at all. So I thought, you know what, for one of hers, I'm going to do a small one. First of all, the idea with these stitch-alongs is to have some smaller finishes because she knows that we have big projects on her list, and she has big projects on her list too. So she said, well, if we do some smaller finishes, that'll keep you motivated to keep going, and I have to agree. So I chose this one, Libellula. I probably said that wrong. Dragonfly. It's all one color. And I'm going to do that. Again, this is a picture of this plus fabric. It's 32 count, and it's called Huntress. It's a deep, I thought it was more red, but it's actually more burgundy wine color. And again, I haven't used Picture This Plus, so I have two projects this year that use their fabric. And I was trying to figure out what I should use for the actual dragonfly. So I went through my specialty fibers, my stash, and this is what I'm planning on right now. Mind you, I've changed my mind a few times. This is Gliss and Gloss Color Wash Hand Painted Japanese Silk number 576. I do not know the name of the color. I have two of them, that's why I'm holding up two. I thought I would do that for the main dragonfly body. And on the wings, I would do that, and I would pair it, see what it would look like paired with a Petite Treasure Braid white. on just the wings. I don't know. I might change between now and then, but that's my plan as of right the second. We'll see what happens. The Christmas ornament stitch along I do want to participate in, but I agree that I want to wait till the Just Cross Stitch Christmas ornament issue comes out. I've been collecting that magazine, that particular issue of that magazine, for years. I don't have all of them. I started in 1997. I have that one, and I have most of the years between then and now, but there are a few I missed. So I'm going to look at the 2015 ornament issue. I think that comes out July, August, September, somewhere in that time frame. See what they have, see what gets my attention. If there's nothing in there, then I'll look at one of my previous issues. She also has the Finish Your SALs SAL, starting December 26th. I'm going to be part of that one too. So any of these that are not complete, that will be my goal date of getting them worked before the end of the year. She also has for 2016, although this is really not part of her Malicious SALs, or Maliciously Hopeless SAL list, she is going to do a Lavender and Lace 2016 stitch along. She's looking at a Teresa Wensler one, but this would start on January 1st, 2016. You could choose whatever lavender and lace design you would like. The one I'm looking at doing is the Celtic Winter. I have stitched the Celtic Christmas, Celtic Spring, Celtic Summer, and Celtic Autumn. I started stitching this one, so there's 5 in the series, I've stitched 4 of them. I started stitching this one and it looked wrong, and I wasn't quite sure why, so I went back and double checked my floss color and count and everything. I made the mistake of buying or putting it on the wrong piece of fabric. I bought a piece of fabric that was too small. And I think it's one of those situations you're looking at the item you want to get, but you grab the wrong thing. This happens in the grocery store all the time. Usually doesn't happen in my cross stitch. I make plenty of other mistakes, but I usually get the fabric right. So I stopped stitching on it and I never restarted. So that one I have all the beads and I have all the fibers. I would just need to find the fabric for it between now and then. If I don't stitch that one, I might stitch Celtic Spring. I ended up bartering Celtic Spring, the finished project, for some framing with a friend. He gave the Celtic Spring to his wife, also my friend. But he framed 2 pieces for me. My favorite piece I've ever done, In the Arms of an Angel, and one of my children's verse samplers. He did that in exchange for the piece, so I think it was a good deal both ways. I really loved doing that piece. Of the 5, I love stitching them all. Well, except obviously Celtic Winter, because I haven't actually stitched that one. Beyond that little bit I did before I found my error. Celtic Spring, I remember stitching her. I had baby blues. My second daughter had been born, and there were some feeding issues, and I had a hard time. You get the baby blues, and you have a hard time thinking and focusing. And stitching on Celtic Spring, keeping my hands busy, engaging my mind, pulled me out of that. So it was a very good memory stitching that project, but also it stitched up, I think, really quickly. So if I don't do Celtic Winter, which I'm not quite sure why I wouldn't, then I would do Celtic Spring again. So then I can own it, because I have Autumn and Summer. Summer is framed, Autumn is not framed, and Christmas is not framed. It is finished but not framed. So I would like to get Spring so I can have my collection. Of course, then my children start moving out of the house and then they'll start taking my pieces. But also, from the place online, I had the opportunity to order the latest Mirabilia pattern, Christmas in London. To be honest, I've looked at it online and drooled on it online. It doesn't do it justice, because I've been studying this picture and just seeing where more and more embellishments are and seeing more depth in the pattern. Oh, And I purchased at Stitchville 32 count Belfast white opalescent linen. I didn't want to do a whole hand-dyed piece because I didn't want it to compete. I mean, there's a lot going on in this pattern. And I didn't want to compete with the pattern and take away from it. But I thought just a little bling, a little opalescent, just a little bling will work fabulous for this particular project. And this project has no acrylic in it. So no metallics. But it has a lot of beads. Here are all the Mill Hill beads. This is what you'd see on the back when you buy it in the store, so I'm not breaking copyright. These are all the beads here, and these are some crystal treasures. You can also find this information from a number of sellers who sell this pattern, so you know what DMC colors are in it and what beads are in it. But yeah, that one, beautiful. She is 220 stitches by 292. So she's a little bigger than some of the other projects, but not, I think I've done a bigger Mirabilia than that. I also had at Stitchville, when we went, got another Mirabilia. I know, I like Mirabilias. I got Casseopeia. Oops, you probably would like to see the actual pattern. My oldest daughter wants this one. She says when I stitch this one up, then she'll choose either this one or Lady of the Mist that I have stitched already. So this has 5 silks. And the silks, I also purchased the silks. I don't have any of these in my collection until now. So this one is Iris. Let me see if I can put it on something so you can get an idea of what the color is. This is Iris. And this one is Plum. And at Stitchville, they display their water lilies by alpha order. But they also have a cheat chart because on the pattern, it just tells you the number. It doesn't tell you the name of the color. This one is Espresso. This one is Sapphire. And this one is Blueberry. So these are the 5 silks that are used in this project. She also uses 3 acrylics. Copper, gold, this one glows in the dark. Never used this before, so that'll be different. It also uses Whisper. I've used Whisper before, but I have not used Whisper in the black color. I've used it only in the white color. You stitch this up, and then I have a little brush, and you go back over it, and it gets all that dimension, that fuzz that you see on here is supposed to be there. But you don't want to get it super fuzzy before you have it actually in your project. And I'm going to do that on Twilight Blue 32 count linen, I believe. Something from my stash. So I have her from Stitchville. I also purchased some more Thread Heaven from Stitchville because I was low. And when we were there, my youngest daughter really liked this kit. It's called Birdcage. I did not purchase this kit, although I'm thinking I probably should and stitch it up for her. And then it was my middle daughter. It was almost her birthday, so whoops, I had her pick out a kit. And oh no, I lost it. I lost it. She chose a beautiful kit. It is called Aurora. She's finishing up some kits that she received for Christmas before she jumps on starting this one. But I think she'll really like it a lot. Sorry. I had this queued up, but my phone decided to hiccup. And it is there it is. It's called Aurora. It's a Gold Dimensions kit. You see she has the polar bear next to her, and she has a lantern. She's going to be a beautiful, beautiful kit for her to work on. She wants to finish up a couple other things first. I also, during the Heaven and Earth design sale that they had, I did buy some more. I know I have 4 big projects, and I said, no, I'm not going to buy more, and I did. Yes, I am thoroughly enjoying the Heaven and Earth design that I am working on right now, and I look forward to working on future ones. This time I chose minis, though. I didn't choose the full big one. So this is one that I chose, and she's called Evergreen. I love her cloche hat. My grandmother, years ago before she passed away, she showed me pictures of her and my grandfather when they were courting. And she was only 5'2", so she's just this petite little woman. She had a hat just like this one, and he was over 6 foot. So yeah, to see the two of them there standing by their little Model T, and it was fun for her to tell her stories. I also purchased this one. It's called Tears of Yesterday, and again, it's another mini. And I just love the detail in her skirt. She's beautiful. So I'm not sure when those are going to be stitched, but I purchased those 2 patterns. But then I was going through my stash, and I knew I had this pattern, Lady Alexandra by Mirabilia. I'm going to do her on the same theme. Yeah, I know, another Mirabilia on my list. But then I found this pattern. I found it in the weirdest location. I'm not quite sure how it got there, but it's called Sleeping Princess. And I'm going to do her on 32 count Fabric Flair Yorkshire flowers. They have these little flowers painted on there, and I think it'll look just beautiful. I think the background is more of an antique white than a white, but then with the flowers, and then this will be the pattern that goes on there. This one my middle daughter wants me to stitch for her. So yeah, most of my patterns are claimed by one or more of my children. So we'll see what gets done. Let's see, what else do I have on my list? I think that's all I have on my list. But I thank you for watching, and I thank you for commenting, and this should be the last video. I had to wait until my order came in to do this video. I've been waiting all January to do this stitch along video. Finally my order came in, so I could do it. And so my next video will probably be toward the end of February on my WIPS progress, excuse me. So it's the Mirabilia Stitch Along, which I'm doing Venetian Opulence, my son's birth sampler, my daughter's graduation project, and the White Dragon by Heaven and Earth Design. Those are the 4 that I have in my rotation. This week is Mirabilia. We've had some health issues, so I haven't been able to get as much done as I would like to get done, but she'll get done sometime this year. I'm not as quick as some of the ladies that have been posting on Instagram. I'm amazed at your stitching progress, but that's okay. That's okay. She'll get done because I'm enjoying stitching her, even though she uses 3371, my least favorite DMC. But I thank you for watching. I thank you for subscribing and your comments. I'm always encouraged by your comments. So I look forward to watching videos, and feel free to comment, ask questions below, and I will have all this information in the description box in case anything caught your eye. But I will talk to you the end of this month. Thank you. Bye-bye.